They didn't look like a cohesive team, and like the chat saying, yeah, they did split. I'm kind of disappointed.
As you said, practicing with snipers and you're not getting them in tournaments, you're just set up to fail in grands.
Looking back on it, it was even more dumb that they were doing that. All right, let's move on. Next bad. Let's start roasting some players now. Anyone got a bad?
I mean, I guess I'll take it. And like I said, it was my first season actively watching North America, and I had a lot of expectations for the duo coming in, and I was pleasantly is a bad way to say it. I'm not happy for the downfall. I just think it was sort of expected, at least from my side, in my own prediction. It was Clix and Epikwhale's performance. I think at the start of this season, I had a lot of faith that they were looking like the team that potentially had the unlucky time of being in a season where Peter and Poya were dominating, but they looked like the second best team at some point. And then when you transfer that into a ultra stat lobby, they were looking like a middling top 20 team, which, you know, they ended up placing, I think, 17th or something leaderboard, or 15th. I don't fully remember. But for me, I like to attribute that a little bit to I think a lack of adaptation, because I think it's the same sort of thing that happened last season, but the things changed, right? So last season, snipers were a lot more readily available to them. Epic this season, I believe, has nerfed snipers to a decent amount in terms of drop rate, and you can barely get them because of the bunkers and stuff, so you don't get them from a vault, for example, from the spot. So the way that Epic and Clix ended up playing, and in scrims, the main thing, because I actually watch a decent amount of scrims before I go to bed, even though I don't stream it, is they every game they have a sniper, right? Because pub spawn rates for snipers are super high, and then when it comes to a real tournament, they don't get a sniper, and then when they don't have a sniper, they end up struggling for Surge. Every single game, it seems like they were scuffed for Mats or scuffed for Surge. They didn't look like a cohesive team, and like the chat saying, yeah, they did split now, but I'm kind of disappointed, and it was sad for me to see that they didn't have a plan B or a backup plan to what Surge was, because it felt like it was an obvious thing that was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah. I agree. I think also on that point, I wonder if, now you said they split, if Clix or Epikwhale are going to stay Lavish Lair, right? Especially in a no mobility meta. Because last season, on top of the snipers, when you have crash pads and you have grapples, and you can go go jump on a team and get Surge on teams who are scuffed towards the top left, you know, Rebels Roost or the Vault next to it, or even the Islands team, you're going to be better than most of those teams at fighting when you're Clix and Epikwhale. But then when you go into a no mobility meta and you can't just fizz crash pad onto someone or grapple onto someone, and you don't have snipers to, if you don't get a fight, you know, get the clutch Surge, you're in a situation where Lavish, no one rotates around you. We saw it in day 2 with Cringe and Noms, as it's a similar team who needed to fight for Surge. If you have no teams around you who aren't going to go near Lavish Lair, you're going to struggle with Surge. And if you're, as you said, practicing with snipers and you're not getting them in tournaments, you're just set up to fail in grands.
Yeah, I feel good, because I sat here and said it, and people looked at me and said, well, 11's just waffling again, or 11's just trying to... But I said the exact same things, right? Before, you know, we went into grands, I said, these guys are relying on bullying people off of bunkers to get Surge. Like, that's what they're trying to do every game. And in hindsight now as well, looking back on it, it was even more dumb that they were doing that before grands. Because then now in grands, you've already low-key conditioned those teams to not even want to fight you like that, because they know they're going to lose. So if anything, like, they're sat there going, yeah, we're better than these guys, Epic, bro. We shit on all these kids in the bunkers. Like, hello? Like,
It's our bunker.
You need those kids to think they can get the bunker if you want to get Surge. Like, yeah, nah. It was, again, like a normal belly meta like this, you just can't rely on just fighting the way they did last season. It was obvious. Everybody could see that from a mile away. It's a shame they didn't fix that. You know, there's obviously all the talks about like Clix's inability to like play for Surge and like, you know, place Surge bases, etc. Like, the whole thing's a mess. Obviously, yes, we know, like everyone's saying in the chat, they've split. By the way, as well, for the people watching live, we're going to end up talking about a lot of teams who have split. So, like, you don't need to tell us every time they split, they split. We do have a section coming where we're going to talk about all the teams that have split, just so you know. So we'll get to
watch
that.
Fortnite.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like we do watch the game. But yeah, the Clix and Epic thing, yeah, I thought that was pretty bad. It's a shame. But it was also something that I think they should have seen coming, which is kind of disappointing that they didn't have something more ready for grands to deal with that problem.
It was also interesting that, I mean, we were watching it live, and then the second they finished, right, in game number 12, a clip goes into my chat, and they were like, yo, look at what Click said about BloodX, right? And then it was just like, yeah, BloodX wasn't on in day number 1. He wasn't even aware. And like, I'm a fragger, so I don't really want to think about things like that. And like, he wasn't there in day 2. Look how good we did because BloodX was a lot more alive. Like, I feel like that lack of accountability as well is also a little bit painful to see because, like, yes, you have a coach, and yes, you rely on your coach to live coach you, but I mean, if 27-year-old me and you know, the rest of the boys can see very clearly what's about to happen, then you as a player should also see what's about to happen. Like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah. I can't believe Click said that about. I was going to quickly say, I can't believe he said he did well in day 2. I wouldn't call 18th in day 2 good. Like, I don't think that's like a huge increase in performance for them. Like, I as you said, I don't think it's anything to, like, obviously, as a coach, you take accountability, right? But if Clix is taking all the responsibility away from him, that gives me worries for next season. Whoever he plays with, is he just going to blame his new teammate? Whoever he decides, like, oh, I shouldn't have played with him. I should have played with someone else. Like, I wonder if this is going to be a problem for next season.
Well, I think that's just, I mean, obviously, I've not seen the clip or whatever. I'm just basing it specifically off what you just said. But that mentality generally is usually extremely toxic from a coach to player perspective, right? Because I think about this in like real sports and things like that, where you have the people who just cannot accept that they made a mistake, which makes usually very uncoachable people to start with. Like, you know, BloodX has coached a lot of extremely successful players. So of course he's got a very specific way that he does it. And maybe that doesn't align with Click sometimes, whoever it may be. But the lack of acceptance is like a bad look generally, because who else is going to coach him if not BloodX? The reality is there, you know, someone will try, but like, will they be able to do as good a job?
Especially because you pay them a lot of money, right? Like, it's a weird relationship that you have, because you're same thing as like Mongo Savage. Like, you pay someone to shout at you and to shit on you, basically, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing where I think like the where I wanted to go with that, before I was just waffling, was the reality is like, you can get a coach and you can get them to tell you all this stuff, but if you don't yourself actually like put in the work and think about it as well, think about your mistakes, take accountability for yourself, find out what you're doing wrong, add to it, and not rely on them that much, then it's very difficult for you to actually like continually improve as well, you know? I don't know how much time Click's put in this season with Epic and how much they've reviewed themselves and how much they put in all this kind of stuff. But I would doubt it would be as much as a team would need to win a region.
Yeah. For clarity, real quick, Clix didn't blame Epikwhale. I don't think I said that. And again, the clip that he might have said about BloodX, I mean, there's probably more context to it, but that was just a clip that I saw, is that he said BloodX was in their deal number 1. So just for clarity for the people.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to add to what you said at the end of that race. I'm pretty sure before Grand, he like posted a clip of him like on a private jet playing Fortnite. So like, again, I don't know how locked in he was before Grand. You know, I don't know. It's like
I just think if you're on a major region like that, it's so hard to balance being like a creator with also, you know, trying to actually practice enough to be the best on the region repeatedly, you know?
Yo, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to click the link in the top right here. You can check out the full podcast where we waffle a little bit more about competitive Fortnite. And if you do enjoy it, make sure to subscribe as well.